We're back in the podcast suite, and we're going to try to finish hanging up some TVs and lowering that guy down because I finally got the correct poles in. Hopefully. I haven't actually opened the box yet. So we're going to try that. We're going to have to move some stuff out of the way, of course, because we have things that are in our way that we had set up temporarily until we had the correct solution here. So let's get this out of the way, Camera. All right, now in here are some very, hopefully, correct. This is a hardware. Oh, there's usually wrapped a lot. In here, there you go. Now this might be overkill for what I'm using them for. Still, this is overkill for what I'm using them for because they don't come with different size. But there we go. Wow. So that should go either in front. That's too far forward. Oh, and back, behind, and be able to mount the TVs. We're also gonna mount the side camera with this. So why don't you start there? We'll start with the center camera. When you buy things from different manufacturers, right, not everything, fix this a little bit, is going to match up perfectly. So I bought this part right here. This is from Global Truss for the truss system, and it's a VESA mount. But it's also rather thick, right? This is much thicker, this part, than your standard VESA mount. You know, the TVs aren't VESA mounts, they're TV mounts. So I have this from Tether Tools. It is a VESA mount adapter plate, so that you put this on the back of your TV, and you can adapt it to a VESA mount. Now, because they're different companies, the holes don't necessarily align the way you want them to. So I am kind of modifying it. So I'm actually on these holes here, I'm going to go with these holes on this side. So I have 4 screws holding the whole thing in. And because it's thicker, the screws that came with the adapter kit, with the Tether Tools adapter kit, are too short. So I'm using from this, I bought a universal TV mounting kit from B&H with the VESA hardware in it, which is nice because now I have these longer screws, which are in here. These are an M5 by 35 millimeter bolts, and these work with the nuts. So the VESA mount, the Tether Tools kit came with nuts for it, so those fit together. They're the same thread, and then we take the appropriate washers, and we are going to go ahead, and I already did one here. Let's do 3 more, so that way you can put that through there. I'm going to put the washer over here. Got your little lock nut on. And I don't have my regular pliers, so I'm using an adjustable wrench right now to just pull that, lock that in place. And because I don't feel like screwing forever, we're going to use our handy dandy power driver to lock it in. Yeah, we have 2 in there, and now we just need to put two more. They almost did it too tight, so let's just keep repeating that here. There, now our base mount is attached to our Tether Tools adapter, and now we can mount the TV onto here. So we have, I know it's these 4 screws that's going to go into from mount to the TV, so let's go do that. So I already have the 4 screws. These are the screws right here with washers, because I like to make it a gap. I don't want it to be right up against the TV. And there, now look at that thing. Whoa. That is gonna be hanging off this arm like this. Okay, I have not hung the second TV yet. Still only hung the one, but I want to figure something else out in the control room for the podcast suite first, because those weren't up there. It's been kind of Frankensteinish to do things, so I want to kind of clarify what is what in here. So I got das label maker, so we can make some labels, so we can label our converters. I brought another converter in and an adapter, extra cables, because we want to be able to get this iMac into the Blackmagic switcher. Plus we want to be able to take a feed from in there to get into the Blackmagic switcher, but we also want to be able to take something from in here and push it out to those TVs. So that's a couple different things, and I think I'm actually going to possibly even introduce an HDMI selector out there at some point, but we're not doing that today. Right now I just want to be able to get something from here out to there via HDMI. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on doing that here with this guy right here. So this is going to be sending, this is what goes out to the TVs. So let's actually use our label maker, right? Right. So this, by the way, is the Blackmagic Mini Converter up-down cross, which is amazing. So with the Blackmagic board that we have, it only takes 1080. Most of the time out of computer, you're not pushing 1080. You're pushing a lot higher than that, a lot of times 4K, 5K. So this is taking it, I can do SDI ins, I can do HDMI ins. So like with the one that's already by the iMac here, that's an HDMI in, and it's actually going out both SDI out to the board, and it's also going HDMI out to the TVs in the podcast suite. And then the mini converter that I'm putting in now, this is going to be the HDMI that's coming in from the other room. Oh, but I'm actually going to come in, even though I said HDMI to switcher 4, because in the room it's going to be HDMI, but it's actually going to come in over an SDI, because I have an extra SDI cable that's already been run, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use on the other end, I have in the other room, HDMI to SDI converters. So I'm going to use the converter on there, change it, bring it in here, and do it that way. So that's what's going to happen with this. So, like I was saying before, because this is a Tether Tools VESA adapter mount, and this is a global truss VESA mount for the truss system, the holes don't exactly align. When I put everything on, it's actually covering one of the mount screws for the TV. So normally I like to have my my gap between the mount and the TV, sometimes for airflow and stuff like that. But because I'm missing this one, I would have a weak spot right here. So it's gonna be fine with only 3 screws holding it in, but I wanna have this flush to the TV. So I unknit it and I'm gonna flush it up. And I also noticed that the screws that I have are kind of long and it needs a little bit of, add up 2 washers on each one so I can get to the correct depth to make it nice and tight. Boom, TVs are hung. Finally, we got the red poles in, we lowered the center camera. It might still have to move a little bit, but it's fine for now. I had to bring the side cameras forward so that way they could be seen. I look way too low in this frame. There we go. So here we go. Like I said, cameras are in, TVs are in. We're going to make some fine-tune adjustments on the cameras later on. Make sure everything is kosher. The part I hate the most right now is cleanup. So I'm going to spare you for that part. So, right? Oh, let's do cleanup. We got to do one of those fancy transitions, right? And now for the cleanup. And there we go. I cleaned up. I'm going to finish the SDI extension another time because someone's coming in to use a podcast feed pretty soon. But that's going to be a pretty simple thing. I just have an SDI cord here that I'm going to run to the desk and mount one of my SDI to HDMI or HDMI to SDI converters and leave that underneath. And that way you just have an HDMI out here on the desk that we can plug into and be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So after I finish the last part of doing all the podcast stuff, I'm going to make a whole new video touring the whole new setup because it's a lot of new stuff and it's going to be pretty awesome. So stay tuned for that one.